Hi Libra, here is a general look at your solar chart for March 2016, and I think you're going to be busy. I think you're going to want to be getting organized, and there will probably be a lot coming into your mind as well. So it's an interesting month, March, for all of us, because there's going to be two eclipses. There's a total solar eclipse on March the 8th. That's on the Pisces Virgo axis. And then there is a lunar eclipse on March 23rd, and that's involving your sign very strongly, which is on the Libra Aries axis. So, and that's about partnerships, that's about working closely with others and new beginnings there. So the solar eclipse will bring a surge of energy. It does actually have a knock-on effect, this solar eclipse, for us all, with Saturn and with Jupiter. Well, Saturn's in a really good place for you just now, and will be until the end of 2017. So that can be grist to your mill. That can help you to build with knowledge, build with new information. Some of you could be on quite a learning curve anyway, because of where Saturn is, and pretty soon Mars is going to be there too. So this is going to kind of open the path for there to be a new beginning, which, according to the degree of the eclipse, could be minor or major, depending on where your natal degrees are. So there can be this wave of beneficial energy coming in, which doesn't have an opinion about being plus or minus, negative or positive. It's just energy which is allowing for change. And then we do have the lunar eclipse. That's to do with the one-to-one, that kind of thing. The thing about eclipses, though, is that they tend to make themselves known even before they've occurred. And this is something that maybe somebody could do a study on one day, because it's mysterious and puzzling and fascinating. And a month before they occur, sometimes even more. But you'd have to know about astrology, I guess, and the eclipse energy it would be, to be able to relate it to what was happening in your life. But yeah, a month before, and then the eclipse occurs in this instance on, say, for instance, March the 8th, and then it will take 6 to 18 months sometimes to unpack itself, to really kind of express itself down and through our dimension, our domain, shall we say. So that's interesting. And then there's the lunar eclipse. It doesn't have the clout of the solar eclipse, but it could do if it's very close to a degree that's significant in this will be the first few degrees of Aries or Libra. And if that matches up with a degree of a planet or an important point or the sun in your chart, well, then that could be interesting for you. And this encourages new beginnings in that partnership sort of dynamic, that routine going on there, or through somebody that you connect with, and it could be quite significant for you. Other news is around the 5th to the 7th, the sun passes over Saturn, putting more on your shoulders. Maybe there's more you've got to kind of push your way through, fight your way through. You've got to be responsible for more, maybe, or you just feel it. Maybe it's the same amount as you always have, but you feel it more. And then, but that's brief. There's another one that's worth a mention, which is Jupiter and Saturn moving across each other's degrees. That's from mid-month onwards. So that means that your freedom of action will be curtailed or in some way limited, or you feel that your action, whatever action you're taking, you have to try and get a kind of structure going there. Maybe if you choose to work within limited parameters, then you can be quite expansive and find a wider range of options within those parameters. And then we also have Mercury and Venus doing something interesting. Mercury's going over Neptune on the 10th and the 11th. Venus is going over Neptune on the 19th, the 21st. And here we have Mercury for you in a very practical area. You figuring things out, and maybe missing, be careful you don't miss a trick. Be careful you don't trip over your own, leave something behind, or there's something going on with a piece of equipment and you don't know how that happened, or somebody doesn't know how it happened, or they don't know how to get it fixed, or you don't know how to get it fixed. It can be something like that. So you just have to be more, you have to be, I suppose really you've got to be trying to be a little bit clearer in your communications with others, and more analytical about how to sort the situation out. It's very practical. It's very practical. And then Venus as well. Venus between the 17th, the 19th and the 21st. That is maybe a person, a place, an idea seems like it's the best thing since sliced wholemeal bread, or, kind of bean sprouts. I don't know. But it doesn't turn out to be so much like that. Maybe. I'm only saying maybe in either of those cases, because another way both of these can work is that you really do feel as though you are singing from the same page as somebody, that you and somebody come from the same place, and you got to be bringing the realism, because Neptune can be a little bit head in the clouds, I have to say. But you be realistic, and it can even bring the beauty towards you, the music, the entertainment, the art. You're seeing the beauty through someone's eyes, or maybe it's just the place. And indeed, it can be you enjoying really what, in a service-orientated way, what you're doing maybe. And others will be more supportive towards you, very likely, particularly between the, well, you can be a little bit cross wires perhaps, but particularly from the 12th onwards. So a bit cross wires at times, but then you kind of suss it, you realize what's going on, and this can be about health matters as well for some of you, either your own or somebody else. So you just have to make sure that communications are as crystal clear as they possibly can be, and that you have grasped properly what the other person is assuming, or the other person has grasped properly what you are meaning, you see. But as I say, you can be more creative, you can be more lyrical, you can be intuitive, very, very, very intuitive in practical ways during those transits there. Saturn is still pretty close to Uranus. I mentioned that a lot last month, keeping a steady focus on an outcome. So this is a very, very good aspect, and will be very positive for you. You keeping a steady focus, like you got the crosshairs on something, or you got your compass bearing and you're just following that, even though you had a lot of crosswinds coming in, you're having to tack towards that point on the compass, right? And you're likely to be successful. You're very likely to be successful, as it's such a good angle. There's such a good angle to each other. Dreams can come true. You just got to work consistently towards this outcome. And in the last week, Mars is going over the Sun. This is a real boost of vitality and energy, and the ball going, and really things are actually, decisions made and actions taken now. Probably seeing results, very much so. So, as I mentioned, you've got Saturn in your area of learning curve, training. I mean, that's until late 2017, formal or informal, more. You've got to be consistent at anything to do with education in a routine sort of a way. Also, maybe travel, short distance travel, maybe speaking, writing, maybe, creatively, but also it can mean onerous, bureaucratic, claptrap paperwork. sorry for the bureaucrats out there listening to this, but couldn't you just make it simpler? But the other day I was listening to something, and it said there is now something like 22,000 pages to the tax laws in this country, the UK. I think I got that right. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, even the people who are experts don't know it all and can't understand it. So obviously there's loads of loopholes, isn't there? Which may be good or bad news depending on who's listening. Anyway, so here we have you being, persevering with communications, education, equipment, paperwork, bureaucracy, or not, and teachers, teaching. So you're the teacher, you're the one that's showing how to the ropes of something. And it's likely that you'll be learning that often the truth is no more than a perception. It's time bound, because depending on where we're at on our timeline and in our evolution, really, we believe certain things to be the absolute truth, and then we move on and we have a few more kind of spanners in the works. And then we realize 20 years later that actually no, that wasn't the whole truth at all. Why did I ever think that? And that's the way it goes. Take it from one that's been here a long time. You Librans born the 7th to the 10th of October, or with 15 to 17 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most during this forecast period. And then Jupiter is in the sign before yours, comes into your sign in September. That will be your moment to champion your moment over that subsequent 12 months. But for now, it's finishing off a huge 12-year cycle, and putting the finishing flourishes on it, tying up any straggly loose ends to do with the past. You'll be looking back to the past maybe more than you used to, figuring out how you can maybe not get so sucked into scenarios which you know are no good, or just that behavior which you know isn't good. And this is also the area where you can be your own worst enemy, so watch out for that. And very early Libra, so around about the 4 degrees, so very early Librans, late September, going to be feeling this the most. That's the eclipse energy, of course, but where Jupiter is, it's the eclipse energy, actually the lunar eclipse energy, is in the late September time, people that are born there. But also this one here, Jupiter, is affecting those of you, we'll get there in a minute, in the end, those of you born 6th to the 13th of October, or with 14 to 20 degrees rising. And then we have Uranus, which is in your opposite sign, so you sometimes have to dance to the tune of comings and goings, or a real significant changes going on in an opposite number, or a partner's or close relationships life, and having to just be flexible and work around that as much as you can. Those of you born 10th to the 14th of October, or with 17 to 21 degrees rising. And Pluto then, of course, is for you Librans at the root of your chart, to do with place on the map, to do with home, neighborhood. Again, significant radical change affecting this area here. You can't really ever get really used to something, because then it goes, hey presto, it's going to change again. And you're going to be feeling differently. This is a more emotional undertow going on here. You guys born the 8th to 11th of October, or 16 to 18 degrees rising, or maybe it's not like that, maybe it's more to do with family, where you feel you belong, whether that's extended family, community, country, whether that is with actual blood relations. And that is it for March. If you know, well, yeah, I should just mention that the Sun is in an area to do with getting organized. Mercury and Venus, as the month kicks off, is in actually quite a playful area. It's to do with children, it's to do with speculation, it's to do with being creative in your thinking, and feeling quite empowered as well, because maybe you're on a patch that you get a lot out of, or you feel empowered by, or indeed admiring glances coming your way. And then they both move into the same rather sort of stitch in time saves 9 area of the sun. So the sun, Mercury and Venus, for a while they're all together, emphasizing that repairs, maintenance, to-do list, getting organized with whatever it's about, maybe with health, maybe not, yours or somebody else's. And then the sun moves out of there and goes into an area to do with one-to-one, very much interaction, teamwork. Mars is interesting because Mars is demanding you put more effort and decisiveness into getting organized in a sort of physical sense. The piggy bank, possessions, or any other bit of territory may need a more motivated and decisive approach. And that is very much, strongly emphasized by Mars since the beginning, very near the beginning of January, right all the way through to the 6th of March. But then it moves, and from the 6th of March, it's in a much easier, more friendly mood where you're concerned, Libra, in your solar communications area. Yes, accelerating mental processes. Yes, putting you even more on the learning curve. Getting educated, sorting out the knowledge, picking up the little special nuggets that you need, and trying not to be too pernickety about things, but keeping lines of communications open if there is a kind of a dissonant energy around, but just keeping those lines open because you will have both Saturn and Mars in there. And that's it for March. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And also, if you want to check anything, it's all written up on DianaGarland.com. And I'll see you the next time.